Hi, thanks for joining us. This is Joyce McCall with Scrapbooks from the Heart. Today we're going to talk about using masks. First I've got this one by Tim Holtz. It's a little compass mini mask. And then I'm going to use the Mega Masks by Heidi Swapp, just the circle set. This little piece of pattern paper I found in one of my Studio Calico kits, and I like the sailboat. I'm going to use it on a nautical theme, but I want to kind of cover up the other stuff. Another nice thing is I'm using the Tim Holtz Distress inks to add some color to this paper, the pattern paper, so that it'll match my layout a little bit better. So I'm going to use Faded Jeans and my ink blending tool, and I'm just going to get the sponge a little wet and work from the outside in on this little Ranger Craft mat. Now that black circle is part of the Heidi Swapp Mega Mask set. There's several sizes. I just liked this one because it was just the right size to cover up my sailboat. And sorry, the screen's jiggling a little. That's from the thing I have the camera mounted on. So I'm just going to work my way all the way through this pattern paper, adding just a little bit of this blue. Most of the nautical paper is like a royal blue and red with some hints of white. So that's why I want to cover up this cream color. And then the pattern paper here kind of has definitions and animals. We're going to cover all those up. So when I remove the mask, it's like it hid the paper, and voila! You can see my compass and the ship. So now this is my pattern paper by Little Yellow Bicycle, and I'm going to use the Mega Masks again, but this time instead of using it with ink, I'm going to use them with paint, just the Making Memories acrylic paint. I'm going to put some little white circles on to go with the pre-printed white circles that are on the pattern paper. So this is just some basic acrylic paint. You can use a dabber, a piece of sponge, a paintbrush, whatever you want. And I'm just going to run it over the holes that are there. Kind of dab it in a little thick, and then I'll spread it. And it's okay if it kind of gets on your pattern paper because you can cover it up. I like these masks because you can reuse them. You can use them with almost any media. So now when I peel that up, you can see it's almost like a stencil. I've got my perfect little dots. Now I'm going to turn it because I want to put them on another spot there on the paper along the bottom. Get it all lined up, nice and straight. The mask is just sticky enough that it'll stick to your paper, but it's not going to tear any layers away when I lift it. And you can kind of get a better shot of that whole mask there with the large circles. There's a lot of options on that. It comes in different shapes too, not just circles. There's like a scrolly frame and squares and different sizes. So just like I did on the other side, I'm just going to dab across, spread my paint out nice and even, and then when I lift away, you'll see a nice perfect row of circles again. And a little mess in the corner. So I can set that aside, or I can go clean it real quick, but that is what my pattern paper looks like now. Okay, you can kind of see what I want the layout to look like here. I've got a couple more things I want to do. This is a die cut I made with my Quick Cuts Revolution and a border die. And I took the negative space, putting a little repositionable adhesive on it, and that'll kind of tack it down and keep it in place for me. And I'm going to paint again, just like I did with my Mega Masks. And I just want to add a little bit of scrolls at the top and bottom to make it match the scrolls that were on the red and blue pattern paper. Another thing I didn't really show was that I took my white paint and went around the edges of the pattern paper. So, and this doesn't have to go all the way end to end. I just want the scroll to kind of run off the page, because you saw earlier when I had it kind of laid out, you can see that it's going to overlap the middle part. So I don't even have to paint it all the way into the middle. But I'm going to do this half of it on one end, and then I'll lift it up and use the other side to paint half of that scroll coming up from the bottom. Again, it's just white paint with a little brush. When I lift this away, that repositionable adhesive, if there's any dots left, I can just wipe them away. So you can see I've got one side done. Now I'm just going to repeat it on the other side. I use just some scrap paper for this. You could use plastic or that real thin plastic, or the new cutting media has a clear acrylic. If you did something like that, then you could use it over and over, just clean it up each time. But I just use scrap paper, so when I'm done, I'll just toss it in the trash, probably. Ta-da! Okay, so now we use the negative space of the die. Now I'm going to use the actual die cut, and I'm going to use it more like an actual mask instead of a stencil. I'm going to use half of it across the top and half of it across the bottom, so I'm going to have to cut it there at the middle. And I'll use the repositionable adhesive again to keep it in place. And then I'm going to use some Maya Mist paint and just spray over that mask. So first I got to figure out where I want it. And again, I kind of want it going off the page. So, and it's just temporary dots, so I can press it down, and whatever doesn't lift off with the paper, I can just rub it away. So once you get it exactly how you want it. Now when you use the mist, sometimes I spray it in a box if I'm using a little piece, but this is kind of a big layout, so I'm just using my craft mat because it won't hurt it and I can just wipe it away. If you want that sweeping mist, you just kind of have to hold it about 6 or 8 inches away from your project and spray. If you wanted to saturate it, you would hold your mist really close as you sprayed. So you can kind of see I'm getting a little red on there. And the idea is for it to look grungy and distressed. So I'm just repeating that same pattern we saw whenever I was painting. So you can see I got a little bit of red paint everywhere, but it wipes right up. That's just a dry cloth, but a baby wipe would probably do a faster job. But I want to get it wiped up so I don't accidentally put the rest of my project in it. Another thing that's good about these craft mats, they're heat resistant, or if you do any heat embossing and you get your embossing powder, you just scrape it away or peel it off. It comes up really nice. But see, when I lift my mask, ta-da, got the blue underneath, and I'm just wiping away the adhesive. So now I can start laying out my project the way it's going to end. Tack everything down. And of course I have to go find my sailboat pictures. So here you can see the final project. I've added a title, Set the Sails. And I've got just some journaling in the corners, a couple stickers. And that's pretty much how you use masks.